Good early morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 28th, and we have a lot to cover. And Vegas is coming. This time she's going to make it at 9:15 a.m. We'll talk BABA and some other big caps. First, you can see our big list there to cover. But first, let's quickly look at what's going on in the banking sector, looking for additional signs of stress. Don't really see any any this morning. Things that do stand out, a little bit of a bid in gold and TLT this morning. But otherwise, we're pretty much stable as far as banking risk and banking scares go for the day. And I'm not aware of any big news either that might make a big impact today. So now switching to the individual stocks, we will be talking BABA. But I will just say this news that came out this morning on Alibaba is very, very significant, even to me. They're basically breaking up their company, not fully. They're splitting to 6 separate groups with their own CEOs and own boards, which kind of tells you that perhaps in the future there's spin-offs that may happen. And the implication of this is analysts can now do a sum of the parts analysis. So even without the spin-offs, they could do a sum of the parts analysis, which is a huge way to unlock value. Traditionally, I've seen these catalysts in the past, and they are very, very strong catalysts. You can see the stock opening up, gapping up above the 200 DMA, and then you got the 50 DMA at 98 here. If you switch to the weeklies, you're going to see that this is actually above both the 20 and the 50-week moving averages. Can we make a move to about 120, 122? We'll see. I can't wait to talk to Vegas about it. I will tell you, if you know me, I don't trade Chinese stocks. I don't cover them because of geopolitical risk. But this time, with this much of significant news, I did add BABA this morning to my IRA. All right, I did that to my IRA. I even added a few. Well, I'm not supposed to add to my trading account. I'm supposed to wait for that cash to settle and move it out. So it's a little bit tough. But anyway, I did add a little bit of BABA to my trading account, and we'll see what Vegas has to options potentially today. And curious if we're on the same page with targets. Now, other catalysts. Look at this. All these stocks have catalysts this morning. All of them. First, let me tell you, ASUR and McDonald's, actually, the catalysts on these are my own. I picked these for Trade of the Week on the Wolf Financial Spaces last night. ASUR Software, we're interviewing the CEO tomorrow. This thing has been outperforming its other small cap peers in a big way, riding up to 20 DMA. This is a cup breakout forming. This was a gap up after earnings, by the way. Remember, I had all those giant price upgrades all the way to about $20, I think. So now you have a relatively lower RSI riding up to 20, a cup breakout forming. The high of the year, 1483, 52-week high. If it breaks 1483, I think this is going to make quick work of $16. And this is the Russell 2000 inclusion play by Chris Tarbert. So this is something I might actually add to today. I have some of my IRA, but this looks like it's breaking out and ready if it breaks 1482, 1483 for a move to $16. The other one, McDonald's, actually speaking of Vegas last night, and she just noted it to me. And I looked at it, and right away, I'm like, not only do I love this chart, it looks like there was a breakout yesterday, but I just love this play, this sector in what I'm still very bearish. I don't believe this big cap tech move. I think it's temporary. I think we're heading into a bad kind of economic environment, and that's good for McDonald's as people trade down to cheaper food. So this one is headed to, it needs to break 275 at this point. So if it can break 275, so it did have a little bit of a breakout yesterday, but it did get blocked at 275, like a triple top yesterday. So if it can break 275, then the 52-week highs in play around 282. So McDonald's, I'm anticipating, because I'm reading into poor sentiment. I believe the rest of the market should have poor sentiment as far as the economics, and that when they see McDonald's this close to a breakout, I'm anticipating they will push it over 275 and make a move towards 282. So these were my two plays coming in today, McDonald's and ASUR Software, but BABA took the cake with the big news this morning. So they threw at the top of my list. I threw NVIDIA and Microsoft in because I know Vegas likes to talk about big caps, so we have them here in case she wants to talk about them. They did get price target upgrades this morning. NVIDIA to 300 by Bernstein and Microsoft to 305 by BMO, or vice versa. I forgot which one's 300. Yeah, BMO 305 and Microsoft 300 by NVIDIA. And I know she likes those charts, so have them up here just in case she wants to talk about them. Now, we got news on FREY, on SLE. Now, the problem with all of these stocks coming below, they're not really profitable yet. And you know, I've lost a lot of faith at this point in stocks which are not profitable, microcaps. They are not favored in this environment. So it's really hard to predict any kind of follow through on these stocks. I'm just going to explain to you why they're up. FREY had a big announcement this morning, plans to form a battery coalition with big players And I don't know. To me, this is it's already trading down. There you go. So I was going to say this is not too significant news to me. If it was going to move, I'll give you the target there, 770. Did it hit it in pre-market? It hit it in pre-market and came back. So that was the play. So I think that play might be done. SLE. This is one for like Tony. I don't know about lithium mining stocks. Mining stocks not my thing, but they had a big news. Looks like big news. Highest confirmed grade lithium brine in North America. And if we go through this, I can't make sense out of this, but it looks significant. This one, unlike FREY, is holding its pre-market gain. So let's look at the chart here. The 20 DMA right there at 360 right now, 363, a little bit above it. So I encourage you to look at the fundamentals. If you're into mining stocks, take a look at the news and make your own determination of how significant this piece of news is. If it is significant, it is something that raises the fundamental value of the company. Maybe you can make a bet that it's going to hold the 20 DMA gap and make a move in time to the 50 DMA around $4. I'm not able to make that prediction for you here. POW. Insider buy last night, expansion of share purchase program this morning. This is interesting. I'm probably going to move this up on my list because those are two significant catalysts. And I don't know how they're doing fundamentally recently, but I know there's been a lot of demand for their business for ammunition. So you got the 20 DMA at 189 and 50 DMA at 208. Maybe those are in play. So I'm going to maybe put this towards the top of my watch list, and maybe you guys can collaborate on what you think the fundamental value of POWW is. Maybe you can look at the last earnings report and take a look at that. Birds keeps coming out with news. This has been very, very hard to play. I got in, I got out. I got shaken out of this because of the volatility. Like the news looked great, initially when they reported earnings, and the thing just dropped like a stone on earnings after initial big pop here on March 10th. So that tricked me. Then they did a whole bunch of insider buying. They did some financing down here. They did announce another announcement this morning. Yesterday, they had an announcement about all the insider buys. Today, they're announcing that they're expanding operations. This has been very tricky to play, the volatility here. So unfortunately, I didn't do it right. All I can tell you is the 20 cents at the 50 DMA is massive resistance. If you do your homework and you like the fundamentals on this, then you can look forward to a break of 20. And if it holds 20, that's your big move from 20 to 34. Yes, but I'm avoiding it right now just because I did not play this, or I can't understand what's going on here. And when I can't understand it, I usually just avoid it. So, but we're watching it. If someone else can step in and someone else can understand what's going on here, you have that 20-cent level that if it breaks on news after news after news, maybe that goes to the 50 DMA at 34 cents. So something worth watching. All right, we got news on OnTrack, which in the olden days, I would have slammed this in the morning. OnTrack out with AI-powered behavioral health product, a virtual care assistant using AI. And given market conditions, I'm not jumping on it because these companies that are not yet cash flow positive, they're really, really out of favor this morning. So this one, if it happens, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't have enough confidence to jump on it and pre-market here and play it on that news. It's just not that market right now, but it's on our radar to watch. Same thing with LILM. LILM, eVTOL company, is that how you say it? eVTOL company, electric airplanes, out with some news this morning, some business progress, ramping up battery cell production, a letter to shareholders, some update. Also, they're saying, gave an update on their cash position and saying they've having productive conversations about the next tranche of money they need to raise. Okay, that's not working. It hasn't been working for Drio, hasn't been working for LLAP. We're just in a credit crunch environment, watching it. Interesting companies, but unfortunately, probably not the right environment for them. I do want to point out CVV and QUIK. CVV had earnings last night, and I skimmed the report, and it seems okay. I don't know. It doesn't seem like terribly undervalued to me. They have a couple big things going on. Yes, they have a big aerospace order that came in Q4. They have the silicon carbide production machine that now seems to have been picked up, not just for testing, but for production by just put up our free app there for those of you watching the replay on YouTube. But there does seem to be a lot of good things here. But the thing is, it's 6 to 15. When we first saw this, when there were 10 additional units, we played this from 6 to 8, but we missed this huge big move because there was no news about it. Seemed it leaked, right? It seemed the magnitude, the importance of that news of 10 additional systems being ordered was really revealed just yesterday and other people knew. And also that big aerospace order that came in Q4, seems other people may have known about that. I'm not in the mood of chasing this, but maybe on supports, there's something we buy. And I'd love to increase the collaboration on this in the community. And maybe we can bring the CEO to speak to our community. Man, we thought we had that when this was like $6, $7, right? We almost had an interview with them. They jumped on Zoom and they're like, "Oh, Ben, I thought it was just you and I don't want to do something for the whole community." And that was odd. Remember that? But man, I wish we did that interview. And I wish I was more aggressive. I only asked them a couple of questions in private. I should have slammed it for the full interview and given you guys the update. So in any case, we're watching that one and with a little bit of regret. So, but that reminds me of QUIK, another small microcap semiconductor company, QUIK, which we've been watching for a while, which has big potential on this Department of Defense contract for the radiation hardened semiconductors. It could be worth like 70 million or so. That decision is going to come out. They already did the first tranche of like 7 million. Are they going to get the rest of the 70 million? We find out like June, July. But I will note, very strong, unusual relative strength with a little bit of volume. So when I saw this, I'm like, that reminds me of CVV when it started moving on no news, right? So has something leaked? What's going on here? We even have a bid of 585 today, which let me see what the bid. I don't know. It's not showing me the size there, but we have a bid of 585 on QUIK. No, 100 shares, which is above yesterday's closing price. So something could be cooking here from 510 to 585 in just a couple days. Could this be a kind of CVV in the making with some good news possibly leaking out regarding that Department of Defense contract? $6 and then $6.50 are your next resistance levels on QUIK. YTRA Online, this is the one that Matt Kolb has been telling us about, the India IPO that's coming. They reported earnings last night. It looked like a big revenue beat. Here we go. 18 million beats 12 million, but a miss on the EPS. I did not read the report. Putting this out there for those of you who are following this stock or following Matt. There may be something in there that can be a catalyst to cause the stock to break that 20 DMA, or maybe the news is bad and it'll cause it to pull back towards its recent lows. So that's something, just alerting you that news is out. And we also have the catalyst of the India IPO coming. So that's something you may want to look into. That's YTRA, YTRA. I want to remind folks we have RUM earnings on Thursday. I think it's after the close. Yeah, Thursday after the close. I saw that was interesting is FAZE, which I just watched with some interest on the sidelines. I don't own it, but this one is down to a $47 million market cap. They're also reporting on Thursday. Curious to see what they report. Clearfield, I've been picking this up near the 200-week moving average, near about 43. Look at that. Oh, almost a beautiful touch of that. Getting there. 43.55 there, it looks like. That 200-week moving average, lower RSI. I've been picking this up. There's a contract I alerted you guys to that could be interesting. April 45 contract gets you an 80% annualized return if the stock closes over $45 on April 21st. So that's something that could be interesting. And right on time, right on cue, that brings us to our special segment with Vegas. Good morning, Vegas. You there?
Hi. Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Baba is on my mind.
We should have been on it last night.
That was big news this morning. Tell me what you think and what you're seeing on the charts.
Well, as you can see, I nailed it last night. We talked about BABA, and I said, you know what? Well, I said, it's very important. We talked about different trading strategies, and people like to follow technicals, and I like to follow technicals too. But one of the things I follow that not many people definitely follow is the money flow. You got to follow the money, because we talked about how news and money is what's going to move a stock. And I've been mentioning in our discussion yesterday that I have been seeing a lot of money flowing into the BABA stock. Now, I've been very bullish on BABA for quite some time, actually, because I know there's a lot of like geopolitical and people that are afraid to trade China stocks, but I got to tell you, scared money doesn't make money. And when you have a company like BABA who's got free cash flow, Okay. You do not get scared to trade the stock. I mean, you know, if there's going to be stocks out there that, you know, that don't have cash flow, you know, you're not going to touch them. But when a company has positive cash flow and, you know, we're due to see some China stocks can make a comeback, you have to have some confidence to want to trade the stock. And so we see here, obviously, this morning, this news is just absolutely fantastic. To see BABA going to be split into 6 segments, which I think will give them some leverage. And, you know, I think longer term, the stock to me is going to be a double. So, you know, I do have leaps that I took earlier this month. I took 150 contracts for January 2024, and I am fully stocked on BABA contracts for April, 90, 95s, and 100s. But to trade BABA for today, if you're looking to day trade BABA, you definitely have to hold the $95. You definitely don't want to go under 92 if you're day trading the actual stock, or you're day trading, you know, if you're looking at day traded option contracts. I would say $95 calls should be in play. And targeting on this one, 96, 97.59, and $98.26. So that's the most I see it going to today. Can it surprise us and go beyond that? I think the answer is yes. But again, and this tape, look, I'm reading the tape. I've been reading the tape all morning. And these guys are not messing around. They are loading BABA with size. So very important to watch the tape, which is obviously the time and sales on your dashboard, and you can watch to see how much, what's the size that they're buying. Are they buying at the ask, above the ask, at the bid? So I am seeing big size coming through on BABA, and rightly so. The money flow was there. So they already gave us the signal that they were going to move BABA. And listen, someone always knows something. So for them to have been buying BABA for over 2 weeks is when I've been noticing the money flow. They knew that news was coming. News was coming. So
all right,
here we are.
Now that the news has come, for the people who missed the money flow, I also see 98 there at the 50-day moving average. How do you, with the stock up 10, 11%? Now, I actually bought some for my IRA in pre-market. And you know what? Like, I've seen great success on some of our calls when there's something I'm a deep skeptic on, but it even changes my mind. I'm like, it's surely changing a lot of other people's minds who are skeptical. But because you talked about that China geopolitical risk, so I'm not surprised that we're probably seeing institutions pile into this who also probably gave BABA a discount because of geopolitical risk. And they're like, but this catalyst is just too strong, right? Breaking up the company, some parts analysis. So we're seeing this 10.6% move. Is this catalyst strong enough that you could kind of chase this today for a day trade? We talked about 98, but can you talk me through how you think about this? If someone's not in this position yet, what would you do? How would you enter this?
Well, if someone's not in the position, I mean, obviously you're not going to go full stock. I mean, as things gapped up this morning. So you know, if you're looking to take it for an investment, I would take a starter, and you can scale into a size that you're comfortable with. And you know what? BABA's the kind of stock, you know, it's China stock. So it's going to have its days where it's up and down. So you could certainly build a position, is what I would suggest, is building a position. You know, any pullbacks you can add to the position if you're comfortable taking a position right here. I mean, I'm personally not going to be adding more stock because I already added back when it was in the 80s. But I will look to day trade the contracts. So I will trade around my swing trade because I don't have any weeklies for BABA, but I will trade the $95 calls today. So, you know, I'm going to have to pay the premium that they're charging for that because the stock's gapped up. But, you know, that's okay. I'm going to manage my size and manage my risk accordingly. But I think in terms of the stock long term, it depends what your long-term vision is for the stock. I mean, are you looking to hold this for a year? Are you looking to hold it for a month? Like, you have to understand like what the vision and the value of BABA.
I'm looking to get the maximum move that's playing out this catalyst, right? So this catalyst came today, and I'm thinking that this has legs for maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. So we look at the chart maybe to gauge how far does this catalyst have legs. So I'm seeing here on the weekly, do you see those weekly moving average? I'm wondering I see about 120 as a possibility, particularly if we break above 98. What do you think of that?
You know what? I think it has a potential, especially, listen, if this breaks 100, as you know, just like $10 stocks, when any stock breaks $100, buyers step in. A lot of traders out there that are not going to touch this until it breaks 100. So there's also those kind of traders that exist out there. So $100 is a really big break for BABA. We haven't seen that in quite some time. So there could be some traders waiting or start taking a starter, and then they might add when it breaks 100. So long term, like I said, I think this is a double, between now and the next, 2 years, maybe less. I could be wrong, but I think this is phenomenal news of what the company is doing. And again, I cannot stress the fact that the company is free cash flow, lots of money. And now that they're splitting up the company to different segments, they will have the opportunity to do a lot more and obviously generate additional cash flow. So I think this is great news for BABA, and nice to see that the China stock is making its comeback. So very happy with it.
All right, great. So 98.20-ish about for today. That's on my radar too. All right. Anything else you want to talk about here? I got some big cap pulled up. NVIDIA,
yeah,
Microsoft,
no, I was going to say, so we talked about McDonald's yesterday. Remember I told you that it has a cup and handle, looks really good. So McDonald's today would have to break 274.87. If it does, you might see 278.68. So I would keep an eye on McDonald's, and I also keep an eye on AMD. AMD is looking really good here, pre-market. So I'd like to see it get over 96.17, which is kind of where it's at right now, 96.20. If it breaks, could head
you
to
got
100.
some eyes. I got to put on the glasses you have. Like, it was looking pretty good this morning. I don't see it, but I guess you see something I don't.
Well, let's see. Like AMD has the nice momentum there, a nice resistance break over 96.17. So if it does break, watch out. If you want to be, safer entry is probably over $98. So if it breaks 98, this can easily go to $100 on AMD. And you know what happens when it breaks 100.
Well, you are the big cap queen. You have a great track record on these big cap tech stocks. So I'm not going to doubt you. We'll keep all those.
Keep a watch on the levels. Just watch those. Just write the levels down. Anyone listening to the show, write these levels down, because even if you don't take the trade, it's nice to observe like what happens when that breaks 98. What happens to the stock? Did it make a move? So just keep a watch on the levels.
Yep. All right. We'll be watching all those. I'll be trading BABA today. I may be trading McDonald's
I think BABA.
today.
I want to mention BABA. Okay, so my top 3 today is going to be BABA, McDonald's, and my second one's going to be JD.com, because it's China. And I'd like to see JD break 41. If it breaks 41, could go to 42.50. So keep a watch on JD. Some potential action can come through on that one as well, as a result, obviously, of the sentiment to BABA.
Right, that makes sense. And 2 of my top 3. These are my top 3 on the list before you came. Also, 2 of your top 3, BABA, McDonald's. You can see that there. So that gives me a lot of confidence.
Oh my God, we're twins. We're twins. Awesome. All
right.
That's great.
Sounds great.
That's great. Okay.
Thanks for joining us, guys. You can join Vegas.
Everyone.
You can follow her at I Love Stocks 1 on Twitter. And from there, you can sign up. She has her own community on Discord. And look at Birds breaking 20 cents, trying to break 20 cents this morning. We'll be monitoring that. Good luck today, Vegas. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.